Welcome back to The Explainer. So, if you're a focused learner who's trying to figure out how to finally streamline your content management, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking a cinematic dive into a massive headache pretty much every creator and content team faces: multi-platform publishing. And specifically, we're going to look at how the AI Shift News operating system steps in to completely solve this operational nightmare.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for this documentary-style journey. We'll hit the distribution problem, explore the unified workspace, break down the 7-step workflow, look at some live validation, check out the tracking and accountability, and wrap up with a really crucial core design lesson.
First up, the distribution problem. Let's talk about the reality of fragmented publishing.
Producing an original, high-quality article, that is an incredible achievement. But these days, it's honestly just the beginning of a messy, fragmented, operational nightmare. You write a great story, but then, it needs to be an X post, a LinkedIn update, a YouTube package, a newsletter block. You get the idea. And suddenly, you're bouncing between fragmented folders. It's just a digital graveyard of browser tabs and lost drafts. But look at the right side here. This is the solution we're exploring today, a system built entirely on the philosophy of build once, distribute everywhere, all run through a single unified dashboard.
Which brings us right to our second stop, a unified workspace, styled in dark navy and electric blue. Now, what's really interesting about this interface is just how incredibly clean it feels. The visual foundation relies on this deep, dark navy and black, and then it's accented by these electric blue borders and super crisp white text. But functionally, the interface keeps the workflow organized into 7 horizontal steps that stay completely collapsed until you actually need them. It's brilliant, really, because you instantly understand the entire process at a single glance.
Let's just quickly rattle off those 7 steps. We've got pick content, pick destinations, confirm package, generate requirements, produce final content, review and approve, and lastly, schedule or publish. The real magic here is that all the complex machinery, the intelligence, all those technical safeguards, they stay completely hidden underneath this really simple, plain language surface.
So how does that actually work? Let's break down the 7-step workflow logically, starting from preparation and moving all the way to execution.
For the first 4 steps, preparation is literally everything. Step 1 requires you to pick an actual, real piece of content from your inventory, and it shows you whether it's live or scheduled. This enforces something called article first timing. Basically, you can't accidentally send your social media followers to a page that doesn't exist yet. Then, step 2, you choose your destination platforms. And this is key. The duplicate protection here is strictly destination specific. So locking in an article for X doesn't somehow block you from repurposing it for YouTube or a newsletter later on.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the system handles step 3, confirming the content package type. This model is just so smart because it actively separates the content itself from the destination. Like, if you're going to X or LinkedIn, you need a text and image package, right? But if it's YouTube, you're going to need a video package. By pulling those apart, the system automatically knows exactly what requirements to generate behind the scenes for step 4. Things like exact image dimensions, specific tags, or scripts, long before you ever hit publish.
Okay, moving right into the execution phase with steps 5, 6, and 7. Here's where we connect all that great planning to actual production. The operator just chooses an action to create the final asset. And what I absolutely love about this is that the interface uses plain language actions. It completely replaces that dizzying maze of file paths, agent scripts, and complex model settings that usually, bog down content creators.
So the crucial point is right here in step 6. This is the visual center of the entire workflow. It's an intentional human editorial bridge. Because while AI and automation speed things up tremendously, they don't replace editorial responsibility. You get this massive, clear preview of the final branded asset and the post text. And from there, you have 2 crystal clear decisions: approve the content for handoff, or send back for changes. You are literally always in the driver's seat.
All right, enough theory. Let's look at validation and live testing to see the system actually in action.
Here is the validated workflow for publishing to X. Currently, this uses a manual bridge where the operator just clicks an Open X and Prepare Image action. But notice the live posts appearing on the AI Shift News profile. The account's actual post count accurately increases, and that branded website thumbnail populates absolutely perfectly. And while some other destinations in the system are, visibly prepped for future activation, this X workflow is fully live and rigorously proven.
Now, let's deliver a quick dose of radical honesty here.
The system is designed to account for platform realities. For instance, X can sometimes experience a really brief delay in fetching and displaying those website cards. But the system's testing confirmed that you absolutely don't need to panic or try to republish the article. The preview just populates shortly afterward. It's a fantastic example of a system actually understanding the quirks of the real world.
Moving on to Section 5, Tracking and Accountability, because good systems have to leave a secure trail.
Let's move over to the expanded X calendar and see how this builds into just an incredible operational view. It pulls from real records, so website publication dates, scheduled dates, manual handoff timestamps, and neatly organizes them. By combining all these exact timestamps, the system successfully avoids making any annoying duplicate entries for the same item. It's literally a living, breathing record of your actual publishing history.
And to dramatize just how effective this historical tracking is, look at this number, 16. When they first introduced this calendar, there were a bunch of older posts sitting there without specific date records. But the system confidently matched 16 historical AI Shift NewsX posts to their exact date and public proof links. And it automatically populated the calendar without having to republish a single thing. That's a huge time saver.
But here's where the system's strict integrity really shines through. There were 2 legacy records that just couldn't be confidently matched. And instead of, guessing dates just to make the dashboard look pretty and complete, those 2 records were deliberately left unresolved. I think that tells you absolutely everything you need to know about their product principles. Absolute accountability and trustworthy history will always be prioritized over cosmetic perfection.
Down at the bottom of the workspace, you'll find this, the final checks and balances panel. This is your ultimate operational safeguard. It's constantly working behind the scenes monitoring inventory syncs, flagging any missing public proof links, tracking overdue manual posts, and making sure all those duplicate protections are active. It definitively answers the one question so many other tools just ignore. Did the work actually happen, and can we prove it?
And that brings us to our final section, the core design lesson of masking operational machinery.
If you take nothing else away from this explainer, remember the philosophy driving this whole interface. As AI systems get more and more capable, they usually force the user to manage an overwhelming amount of complex machinery. But this system proves you can take a totally different path. You can automate the heavy lifting, the assets, the schedules, the duplicate locks, while making absolutely sure that the very next human action is incredibly obvious. Powerful underneath, simple on the surface. So I'm going to leave you with a question to reflect on. If your current workflow forces you to manage the machinery instead of the message, what friction is it hiding? Thank you so much for diving into this with me. Keep exploring, keep simplifying, and remember the ultimate goal of great system design. Powerful underneath, simple on the surface.